What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Good morning. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy and it is Friday, August 15th, 2025. We're here at Polderbaan once again for a continuation of where we left off yesterday. More arrivals today. Wind is blowing from the west. According to the METAR, there seems to be a bit less wind than yesterday. Visibility is better and worse. There's more high clouds on the one hand, but the part between the clouds is more bright, which means that, for instance, the moon is now much better visible than it was yesterday. More contrasty. There you go. What a heavenly body. Wind on the scale chimney smoke is currently looking like so. There isn't a lot of wind, and the meter says what wind there is blowing from the west. For as well, the upcoming hours, the runway use is not expected to change and is going to be the same as it was yesterday. A warm welcome to everybody. Marja, goedenavond. Wolfgang, good morning. And welcome to the show, everybody. Hope everybody has had a good day yesterday. Weekend is upon us. The airplane that you're seeing over there is Air Europa flight 1091 arriving from Madrid. That is a 7878 Dreamliner. Jan, goedemorgen. Richard, Jetstream Journeys, Michael, Siegfried, goedemorgen, good morning. Joas, good morning. Greet, goedemorgen. Yusuf, Buddy, Arjan, Wouter, a very good morning. With the wind currently blowing from the west, it looks like even this Dreamliner is crabbing ever so slightly. You can see in the background an airplane turning in. That is El Al, that's a 7879 Dreamliner, and behind it is a Qatar 777. Next, after this Dreamliner from Air Europa, we're going to see two A320s first, from EasyJet and from Wheeling, Fueling. Hans' favorite. There also seems to be a BizJet coming my way from the west directly, passing overhead, on its way undoubtedly to the Oostbaan. Oh, that's my phone screen turning off. Ah, there it is. Where's that BizJet? Ordinarily we ought to see it, ought to be able to see it. Still a bit further west. Let's look again on flight radar. Looks like it might be passing a bit south of me. Arriving from Oxford, a privately owned Cessna Citation CJ4 is what I'm looking for. And you'd think you'd be able to hear it by now. Oh wait, I have it. I have a visual. There it is. Now let's see. There's the moon. There it is. Gotcha now. Privately owned and arriving from Oxford in the UK. Pretty much in the zenith. And away it goes. Bird control is also here. Outbound traffic overhead. via runway 24. Much better visibility than we had yesterday, much less haziness. Footage is much crisper, as you can see. In the meantime, a very good morning to everybody who has joined. Scott is also back, and Scott is also celebrating a 13-month membership anniversary today. Scott, thank you so much for your ongoing support. I hope everything in the lounge is still to your liking, mate. If anything is amiss, let me know and let me see what I can do to fix it. Upwards and onwards, Scott. Thank you so much for the ongoing support. I hope you're going to stick around for many more months to come. If not as a member, then at least as a regular, frequent visitor. Hans' favorite, Vueling. The pie yesterday tasted good. Had to wait for it until Lisa was done working, so it was sort of an entree for dinner. I think my lunch, consisting of sandwiches, was the only thing healthy that I ate yesterday, because we already had plans to make hamburgers ourselves, which we already did in the weekend, so we needed to finish the hamburger sauce that we made. Just one burger is a little, but this for me as a male is a little amount of food, so we also had a little bit of fries after that as well. And then I even went ahead, Lisa was already full, I even went ahead and also had a little ice cream as dessert. So absolutely shit meals, but I did go for a round of cycling before dinner. After the pie, but before we had dinner, so at least I burned off some of the calories beforehand. Is at least what I say to myself as an excuse. You sometimes have to live a little. LL 7879 Dreamliner. No features on the outside visible that seem to indicate that there is an anti-missile system or anything else present. Although allegedly there are. Time for the wide bodies. Or at least time for the Qatar wide body, I should say. Or were there more following? Not immediately. 2 narrow bodies again after this, and then another wide body, an A330. Good morning everybody who has joined. Alan, good morning. Peter, goedemorgen. Avasteria, good morning. Dennis, goedemorgen. And Dennis, thank you so much for your birthday cake super sticker. Thank you so much, my friend. Much appreciated. En dankjewel. Thank you for the felicitaties, the congratulations. Danny, goedemorgen. Marianne, goedemorgen. Karen, good morning. Oh, Karen is Pierre from Belgium. Matt, goedemorgen. Welcome to the show, everybody. Qatar Cargo, flight 8201, arriving from Doha, 777 freighter. This is the Alpha 7 Bravo, Foxtrot, Papa. Current status quo over here, looking to the south, things look like so. Looking to the west, this is what it looks like. A butterfly in the foreground. This is what the situation is when you look to the east. And this is what it looks like to the north. Good visibility to the north. We can see the airplanes from the east, in other words from the right, turning in. 2 airplanes already established. The 3rd airplane that you see in the background is the next wide body, and the 2 airplanes already on this glide slope are 2 narrow bodies, an A320neo and an A319 here in the foreground. And Jan, aka Reticent Guy, is celebrating his 22-month membership anniversary. He says, in 2 months I'll be blue but feeling all right. That is great. Jan, thank you so much for all the support. Always a pleasure to have you in the chat. And even more pleasure to have you next to me in the grass when streaming live. This looks like an A320neo, but it is an A319 actually. But the way the cockpit glass is painted, it looks like it's a neo. It isn't. It's a fake. It's like a fake Rolex. Acting posh, but it isn't. Looking forward to welcoming you to the Blue Squad into Mansion. And of course, looking forward to our next in real life meetup later in the year. And if anything is amiss in the lounge, that goes for you as well. You know the drill. Let me know. Let me see what I can do to fix it. Zodiac, good morning. Patrick, good morning. Indeed, crisp. It is crisp. And there's a singing lady again. Goedemorgen. Thought, let's greet her. We were making eye contact. She only raised her hands off with which she was holding the steering wheel. It didn't stop her from singing. Just a brief acknowledgement of my existence by raising her hands while keeping them on the steering wheel and continuing to sing. That's dedication for you. SS Flight 821 is this. And that citation is on final to the Oostbaan, according to Flight Radar. Question, of course, is, do I see it? Good question. Don't think I do. I don't think I do. Oh, some birds over here as well. Okay. Well, as long as they stay on this side and don't go too near to the airplanes, they'll probably be alright. Alrighty, what's this? Flight Radar says that this Air China Cargo A330 is landing somewhere between the Polderbaan and the center runway. It is actually, as you can see, coming this way. And there's a Dreamliner from TUI in the background coming home from Willemstad, Curaçao. Anything else? Yes, from the left in the background, probably a bit lower than the number 2. We ought to see an Umbrella 190 pretty soon. Nature Guy, good morning. Sheila, good morning. And thank you so much for the belated birthday wishes. Thank you so much. Nature Guy is tuning in from Tampa in Florida. A very early morning to you then. Good morning. And welcome all others who have joined. This is Air China Cargo Flight 3159. A330-200 freighter. 10 hours, 29 minutes on the way. Bravo 6113, the registration. Sarah is also back in the chat. Good morning, Sarah. Hope all is well. Thea, goedemorgen. I did have a nice day yesterday. Ik heb zeker een leuke dag gehad gisteren. And there's someone will arrive on the flight from Johannesburg, South Africa. Can you make a close view of the cockpit? I certainly can. Is he the pilot flying today? And there's also a Lufty 747 northwest to southeast, bit to the north, entering the coast. Ah, that's interesting, Wolfgang. Not seeing anything. The only contrail that I'm seeing is behind me. That's a twin jet, but I'm not going to zoom into it because the Dreamliner is also about to land here. So yeah, not all airplanes apparently are producing contrails. The difficult thing is that there's also a bit of hazy cirrus clouds right in the area where probably the 747 is flying. So if it's not producing a contrail, it's becoming even harder to see it. But keep the suggestions and the tips coming, since there definitely are airplanes producing contrails that are clearly visible. But again, it's one of those days where not all airplanes passing by overhead seemingly produce contrails. This is the airplane that I saw, but that is not, of course, what Wolfgang was referring to, but it was looking like a big chunker, so I'm curious, what is it? Is that United? It does look like United. If I had to call it, I'd say United. But that is on a more southerly track. There is traffic northerly of me going east to west. That's too far for me to make out, to distinguish clearly. Maybe you guys can. It's flying, well, northeast of me, east to west, bit to the north. Next airplane coming in, Embraer 190, flight 978 KLM from London City to AMS. It's the Papa Hotel Echo Zulu Papa. 40 minutes on the way, nominal flight duration, 15-year-old airplane, first flight March 2010. No traffic jams on the A9 highway in the background. Simi also back in the chat, goedemorgen. Had a look at how the widget was working yesterday on replay. Looking good. With the exception of the odd person whose avatar did not load. The vast majority of the people who did something that caused the alert to trigger did get their avatar shown. So that seemed to be working really well. Really outstanding job. I cannot thank you enough. It was excellent, absolutely superb the way it looked. Trond also back in the chat. Jordi also. Good morning, lads. Joost, goedemorgen. Ronald, goedemorgen. Welcome to the show, everybody. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy, and we are here at Polderbaan, runway 18 right, for a continuation of yesterday. More arrivals, wind blowing more or less from the west. What does the METAR say? Well, METAR will come back in view again in a brief moment. There it is again. Dion, goedemorgen. Wind 270, 4 knots. In other words, it's blowing from the west, but mildly, even milder than yesterday. Wind direction is variable between 220 degrees and 300 degrees. KVK, 23 degrees C. Beautiful weather. And Thea's sun is arriving. We saw them turn in relatively close by. KLM flight 592 arriving from Johannesburg, South Africa. That is a 777-200. Jeanette, goedemorgen. And Stacy, good evening, probably. Evening, late afternoon, early evening probably. Ray, good morning. Jerry, goedemorgen. Jewit Slijm, goedemorgen, good morning. Tommy, good morning. Hey Gil, good morning. Always well on my end here. Hope that also goes for you over there. KLM 5592, arrival from Johannesburg, South Africa. 10 hours, 40 minutes on the way, the Papa Hotel, Bravo, Quebec, Papa. 18-year-old airplane, first flight April 2007. As it happens, yesterday, when I was done streaming, guy came up to me, we struck a conversation. Turns out he is a captain on the KLM wide-body fleet, 777 and the Dreamliners. So I asked him, do you know so-and-so, the first officer who was coming in, buddy of mine who came in from New York. And as it happened, he happened to know him. So I said, let's make a selfie. So we sent them both a selfie simultaneously. He'll be flying to Johannesburg tomorrow. Or was it Cape Town? Maybe it was Cape Town. He's flying to South Africa tomorrow. I don't know what runway use will do tomorrow. If you're taking off from the Polderbaan, we might catch a glimpse of him. Catch a wave from the left-hand seat. Now let's see if we can catch a wave from the right-hand seat. Nah. Too busy, and rightly so. The flap surfaces look immaculate. As they almost always do. KLM's wide-body fleet well maintained. Joas is asking when the A380 is coming. That's a good question. Peter PDK, good morning. Mieke, goedemorgen. Michael, goedemorgen. Why don't we have a look after the wide bodies have landed and we have a bit of a gap. So this is KLM flight 676, arriving from Edmonton, Canada. It's the PH-AKB, fuck B, which we also saw yesterday, I think, if I recall correctly. Hey, you're welcome, Thea. Happy to oblige. Jordi Ying, goedemorgen. Good to see you again, mate. The double quad squad from yesterday. Yes, that was the icing on the cake, wasn't it? We got a bonus queen and one queen that at least I, for one, thought was going to land on the center runway, given its arrival time of 11:30, was assigned to the Polderbaan. It was looking like it almost looked like ATC was giving us birthday gifts in the form of quad squads to the Polderbaan. Almost looked like it. In the meantime, a very big thank you to Abdurrahman, who just now sent a membership, who gifted a membership. I still have to get used to when YouTube says send one membership, because obviously it is a gifted membership. Abdurrahman, mate, thank you so much for your generosity. Who is the recipient? Danny is the recipient. Danny, welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. Have fun with the custom emojis. Don't forget to say thank you to Abdurrahman for the gifted membership. And don't forget to use those custom emojis that you now have at your disposal for a month. Let's have a quick look of Flight Radar and see what is coming this way. First queen of the show is in German airspace and is expected around 10:40. That's a Cathay Pacific Cargo 7478. We also have a KLM cargo, which is expected around 11:33 now. Earlier, it had an ETA of a bit later. This is a bad ETA. If it stays this, there is a chance, big chance actually, that it's going to land on the center runway. Let's hope it will not. Emirates is flying over Turkey at the border of Turkey and the Black Sea. ETA 103. Can go either way. If it makes up a minute or 10, we're going to see it. Maybe with 5 minutes of additional time gain, we also get to see it. We are going to see it regardless, of course, but the question, of course, is will it land here or at the center runway? The Retro Transavia is at Porto in Portugal and is expected to land here around 12:30. So that's what we can expect in the upcoming hours. And here we have EasyJet. EasyJet returning from London Gatwick. Tomasuna says Beluga flying over in the north. Where is it right now? And from where to where is it flying? Please be more specific when you want me to see if I can film something. I need to know where in my part of the sky is it. Will it be to the north, to the south? And also the direction. Is it from east to west, west to east? That tells me where I need to look to find it, because otherwise it's finding a needle in a haystack. Particularly if the airplane does not produce a contrail. If it's a big Beluga and it's flying against a blue backdrop, I should be able to see it even if it's not producing a contrail. But smaller airplanes, or if it is more cloudy, makes it so much harder to see. Ray says, can you film the ducks? I certainly can, if they're here. Which they're not. Only bird present at the moment in my immediate vicinity is Harry. And there's also a boat over there. I think they're also checking they're checking the nets again. Apparently they've placed more nets here for the crawfish, crayfish, whatever they're called. No birdies in the water. The only bird that I currently am hearing is Russell over there. North of Alkmaar even. Okay, east to west, so that is far out, yeah. Well, this is what my northerly sky currently looks like. If there's something producing a contrail, I might be able to see it. Such as over there. At least I can see the contrail. But right now, looking to the north, I'm not seeing anything. And Boeing Stratotanker flying over Purmerend to the west. I do see a little contrail, or at least seemingly little. That's over here. Question is that the Stratotanker? Doesn't look like it, does it? Don't think it is. In that part of the sky, that is the only airplane I'm currently seeing. KLM flight 1352 arriving from Prague, Emperor 175. And after that, KLM flight 1570 arriving from Porto in Portugal. That's a 737-800. Yep. Here come the fishermen. Checking the nets. And you can see where they've placed the nets because they've placed poles in the water. So there's one. And there's one. And also there. H.J. Voorhorst, goedemorgen. Gertin and Jacqueline, goedemorgen. Good to see you guys again. Stacy wonders if they catch the crayfish in the nets to eat them. Well, that's one use. I'm not sure if they necessarily eat them all, but I actually saw an item on the news of one of the biggest channels in the Netherlands the other day, and they were talking about how they process the meat of the crayfish into bitter balls. If you don't know what those are, B-I-T-T-E-R-B-A-L. If you Google it, you'll find those are fried round snacks that can usually contain a meat. What is it? Not goulash. What's the word for it? Ragu. It's a ragu. It's a ragu filling usually, consisting of some sort of meat. You also have a vegetarian version with mushrooms. Anyway, I do believe that if they're not being destroyed and just probably made into fertilizer or something, they'll probably sell them to restaurants and they make food out of them. Mr. Singleton is also back. Good morning, John. Welcome back. Hope all is well. Gerard, goedemorgen. Rob, goedemorgen. Good morning. Bitterballen, yes please. Sensi, goedemorgen. Sensi is experiencing buffering. Is she the only one, or are you guys also experiencing that? Everybody over here, and on my end the stream is running smoothly. Some people are calling it crayfish, others are calling it crawfish. What's the actual term for them? Are they crayfish or crawfish? Next up will be Emirates Sky Cargo arriving from Aguadilla. That's a 777 freighter, 8 hours and 14 minutes on the way, the A6 Echo Foxtrot Yankee. Brand new airplane, this one. First flight was in March 2025. After that, an SAS A320neo and a British Airways A320. So I'm counting 3 narrow bodies on the glide slope right now. SAS flight 1553 is first, arriving from Stockholm. Second airplane is BA flight 436, arriving from London Heathrow. That's an A320. And Croatia Airlines flight 450 is next after that, which I'm not sure if we can see already. Only slightly. You guys can see it better on a bigger screen. Andre is tuning in from Brazil. Bom dia. Good to see you again, mate. Enno, goedemorgen, good morning. De Frans also back. Goedemorgen, good to see you, mate. Was nice meeting you yesterday. David is tuning in from Manchester. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Welcome all others who have joined in the meantime. SAS flight 1553 is next to land here. Arriving from Stockholm, 1 hour and 45 minutes on the way. It's the Searoar, S-E-R-O-R. The windmills in the background you can see are spinning, but they are spinning less than yesterday. Luckily there is a bit of a breeze, otherwise it would still be a scorching hot day here. Usually the wind picks up as the day progresses, so hopefully today will be a typical day in that respect. Estewards, I'm wondering if I'm doing a live tomorrow on Saturday. I should be doing that, unless all of a sudden we have rainy shit weather all day. That's probably not the case. BA coming in next, flight 436, arriving from London Heathrow. London, yes.
You know, Fish, chips, cup of tea, bad food, worse weather, Merry fucking Poppins, London.
Harry doing a flyby in the foreground. Flying time of this A320 is 42 minutes. And it's the GEUUW, which almost looks like the Dutch word for yawn, which is GEEUW, geel. Boring airplane. Geel. Yawn. Well, it's not exactly the right word, of course. It's W, the registration, but it looks a lot like the Dutch word for yawn. Midday terrific, good morning. Angelique, goedemorgen. Angelique is tuning in from South Africa. Welcome to the show, one and all. Next airplane coming in is Croatia Airlines, a Bombardier C-Series 300 arriving from Zagreb. This the airplane type began life as Bombardier C-Series. Nowadays it's called A220, an Airbus. Flight time from Zagreb 1 hour 38 minutes. It's the 9 Alpha CAL, Charlie Alpha Lima. Sure, if you were hearing something, there was a guy who is being a personal taxi for a young little kid in his utility cart, being towed by presumably daddy. What a luxury. Dat mag, zeker. Dat meen je niet. Ah. Ja, dat meen je niet. Wat? Oh, dit. Ja? Oh, wat leuk. Dankjewel. Hoe heet je? Helma. Helma, aangenaam. Ja. Dankjewel. Wat mooi.
Ja, we genieten gewoon van je uitzending.
Wat leuk. Nou.
Ook met die NATO-top dat je dansjes.
Oh ja. Super. Wat leuk, Helma. Dankjewel. Wat mooi. Even kijken. So I just received a gift from somebody who has been a regular viewer and who is always enjoying the streams. Have a look. This was made by people with a mental disability. It's a little plate and a cup, and are those bags of tea in them? Theezakjes. And a candle. The purple thing is a candle. Looking really nice. And a sort of hat or boat. Beautiful. Dankjewel. Ga ik zeker doen. Hartstikke mooi. Ja, nou, heel veel plezier. Zorg dat jullie goed smeren, want het zonnetje is erg fel. Ja, heel goed. Vergeet ook niet om bij te smeren.
Nee.
Heel goed. Hey, heel veel plezier vandaag. Als jullie weer een keertje in de buurt zijn, kom vooral eventjes weer gedag zeggen.
Ja, we komen uit Den Helder.
Jullie komen uit Den Helder. Ja, dat ligt niet om de hoek. Dat is lang fietsen. Hey, dankjewel. Fijne dag, jongens. Doei, doei. Absolutely lovely. Well, and Helma and presumably her husband or her boyfriend or companion are on their way again. And the man who is the personal carrier, the personal taxi driver for the little kid, are also underway. Captain Jerry has returned in the chat, well timed, because we're also seeing the first DHL Lufty CRJ. DHL Lufty. I always have. Why do I always say DHL when it says DLH in flight radar? It's Lufty, of course. Lufty flight 2302 arriving from Munich. Ever so slightly crabbing. CRJ 900, long range, 1 hour and 2 minutes on the way. Klaus, good morning. Klaus is tuning in from Bavaria, which is also where Munich lies in Germany. Would you call it a province, Bavaria? Of course, it is a part of the state. In Dutch, the word is deelstaat, which means part of the state, part state. It's not province. It's probably a different thing legally than a province, isn't it? Bavaria. How would you describe? What's the right term to use in English to describe that? Anyway, just something I was wondering. In the meantime, good morning to everybody who has joined. Dirk on tour back. Good to see you. And the Shadow Prepper is celebrating a 2-month membership anniversary. Shadow Prepper, thank you so much for the support. Hope everything in the lounge is still to your liking, mate. Let me know if anything is amiss, if we are running low on certain supplies, and I'll put them on the groceries list. Department is what Jan, aka Redison Guy, wonders. Free State is what Stacy is speculating. Michael says it's a state, isn't it? Vrijstaat Bayern, yeah. A free state. So Germany, consisting of free states, Bavaria, that's the southernmost, right? Or is it the southeasternmost, at least? Well, it depends on how you look at it. Either way, Munich is in Bavaria, and that is where this Lufti is coming from. Davina, goedemorgen. Well, luckily here where we are standing, the line with the first exit is more or less open. There is still some sand here, but luckily here where they've already placed the logs and the plates, they don't stack up that high anymore. Hey, Richard Moose has returned. I was wondering a week ago or something how you were doing, because we hadn't heard from you in a while. But he is back from bloody hot Rotterdam Zuid. Good to see you again, Richard. Hope you've been well. D. Geerding, goedemorgen. And Captain Jerry is celebrating 28 months of membership. I think you are our first member, or is that Officer Rudolph? I think it's Captain Jerry. I think Captain Jerry is our very first member, and he is celebrating 28 months of membership. He says, oh well, no sound or video from me today. Boo, that's not good. We want you back in one piece. Jerome, mate, thank you so much for the ongoing support. It's always a pleasure to have you in the chat. The banter is second to none, and I hope you're going to continue bantering for many more months to come. If not as a member, then at least as a regular frequent visitor. But you know, the Aurora Sky Lounge has better seats. Captain Jerry Donnelly, aka Jerome, thank you so much for the ongoing support and the great fun we always have when you are in the chat. I'm pretty sure I speak for others as well, that we always enjoy your company in the live chat. So make sure you stay healthy enough to keep coming back for a long time to come, mate. Have a look, it's 2 Dreamliners back to back. KLM Flight 644 is a 787-10 arriving from New York JFK. Behind it is its somewhat smaller sibling, the 787-9, arriving from Buenos Aires. Is that late or is that early? Usually they don't arrive at this time of day, do they? This one is a couple of hours delayed by the looks of it. There you go. Well, anyway, nice chance for us to see it. Klote tijden gehad. That doesn't sound good, Richard. I'm happy to hear that you are coming back again. Wishing you the best, mate. I think it was a week ago that I was wondering, hey, where is Richard Moes? Is he still in bloody hot Rotterdam Zuid? We started noticing that we hadn't seen you in a while. More bigger airplanes approaching. In the background we have Delta Airlines flight 74 arriving from Atlanta, Georgia, A330-300. And on my left somewhere to the west there should be a 777 from KLM also approaching. 777 arriving from Cape Town. I think I have it actually. As it happens, I was able to spot it. There it is, that's KLM flight 598 landing here on Polderbaan shortly, arriving from Cape Town, South Africa. First up, KLM 644, returning from New York, JFK. No wait, that was that already landed. This is 702 from Buenos Aires. 12 hours 26 minutes on the way, more than half a day. Hey there, Martin. Thanks for reminding me that I probably will need to go back on the diet pretty soon. Yeah, yesterday, with the exception of my lunch, I think everything I ate was could be considered to be unhealthy. Then again, I did go for a bike ride. And I did burn off some of the calories that I ate, so hopefully we can postpone the diets, but sooner or later it will have to happen again. That's okay. It's just dieting itself is not so much a burden. It's more the prolonged not being able to eat snacks and stuff that's at a point becomes a bit tiresome. Delta Airlines flight 74, the next airplane to arrive. It looks like it's crabbing ever so slightly. And that is because the wind is blowing perpendicularly to the runway heading more or less. Now there is not a lot of wind today. There's less today than there was yesterday. The wind on the scale of chimney smoke also indicates that not a lot of wind. So subjectively, today is warmer than it was yesterday, although maybe objectively the temperature is similar or maybe even a tad lower, I'm not sure. Delta Airlines flight 74, A330-300, 8 hours and 8 minutes on the way. Will it use the reversers and get loud? Yep. Yes, it did. And how? And how? This was the November 826 November Whiskey, and this airplane 9 years old, first flight January 2016. Lucas, goedemorgen. Well, Stacy, I didn't have the cherry pie for dinner, but it was sort of an entree before dinner. You don't want to know what my dinner consisted of because it is all unhealthy. No, it was the entree because I first had to wait until Lisa was back home from work. So by the time we did have our slice of pie, it was almost 6:30 p.m. already. After that, I went for a bike ride. Then we had dinner, a bit late. Hey, stroopwafels. Nice, Stacy. This is KLM Flight 598. We saw it on the somewhat downwind leg a couple of minutes ago. Arrived from Cape Town, South. Flight time 10 hours 59 minutes. The Papa Hotel, Bravo, Victor, Charlie, BVC. Wessel, good morning. Mike, good morning. Richard, good morning. Gerard, goedemorgen. Michael says it was your birthday, you should not diet on that day, but today get back on the bike, so to speak. Well, I did go on the bike yesterday. I haven't been going to the gym. I always am hesitant to go to the gym whenever it is really warm. Not that my gym doesn't have air conditioning, but just don't feel like it, and you always have the afterglow a couple of hours after you've been to the gym. Makes it even harder to sleep if the heat doesn't make it hard enough already. So instead of going to the gym on weeks where the temperature in the Netherlands is really warm, I usually go for additional bike rides and do some more cardio instead. Pretty soon I'm going to start taking up swimming again, which I haven't done in decades. I think the last time I have been to a swimming pool or swam in outside water was when I was still going to elementary school, so 30 odd years ago. But I am now once again in possession of swimming trunks. Yesterday got me some slippers and goggles. Time to go back to the swimming pool. I always enjoyed it when I was smaller, but for some reason I stopped going and never returned. Finnair having arrived from bloody Helsinki, but not with an A350, unfortunately. Training for a triathlon. No. My bike rides are on an e-bike, which I don't necessarily use to alleviate the force on the pedals, but just to make me go faster with the same heart rate, so that I have a wider range and can cover more in an hour of cycling than not electric. I'm definitely not a runner. I've tried running in the past several times, but sooner or later I always end up with injuries. It's the knees or the hips that start aching at some point, and I never was able, even with a very moderate and well thought out training plan, I never was able to consistently get over 10k without ending up with injuries at some point. So running for me is not a good way to exercise. Cycling is. Swimming also used to be, so I'm thinking that should probably not be a problem. In the meantime, a very good morning to everybody who has joined. Tina, goedemorgen. Roy, goedemorgen. Gerrit, goedemorgen. Mario, good morning. Martijn, goedemorgen. Welcome to the show, everybody else. Next up, Air France, flight 1444, arriving from Paris. And we can see more airplanes. There's one turning in the background. And that is Indigo. Indigo and KM Malta before it. And here in the foreground, Air France, flight 1444. The Air France is a Bombardier C-Series 300. The KM Malta is an A320neo. And another Dreamliner coming in. And Wolfgang is indicating that there's a 74 outbound to Miami on radar. Should be a 24 departure. Keep me posted, mate. We should be able to see that from over here rather clearly. First up, Air France, flight 1444. And Paul is celebrating a 1 month anniversary as a member. Thank you for the support, Paul. Hope everything in the lounge is still to your liking. Hope you have found your way and know where to find stuff in the lounge. If you're still looking for something on occasion, ask around. People will happily show you the way. Don't forget to use those custom emojis. That goes for all members, new and old. Thank you, Paul, for the support. Upwards and onwards. Good morning, Andrew. Sunny Yorkshire. Happy to hear you guys are also enjoying some sunshine. Probably warm over there as well, isn't it? Think now, with the exception of Scandinavia, all over Europe, it's gotten really warm. Further to the south, temperatures in the 30s and 40s Celsius, so that's 100 Fahrenheit and upwards. I need a Garmin couch. That took me from a couch potato with bad knees to a successful half marathoners, but it's a pretty abusive relationship. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Well, to be frank, I enjoy bike rides a lot. Always have. Mates of mine who have racing bicycles have told me on occasion I should also buy one, because knowing me, I would definitely enjoy it. Now they also said to me, you should get yourself your motorcycle driver's license and get yourself a motorbike. You'd also like that. Sarah says, I was told by a sports medicine person I would be prone to have shin splints due to my small ankles. Running labs has never been fun for me anyway. I like swimming instead. I think I have had shin splints as well, or at least the early stages of them when I first picked up running, but that was probably because I trained and started increasing my taxation too abruptly. But yeah, you really need to be careful with running. The Norse Indigo, leaving no doubt that this Dreamliner has reversers on board. Marcus says, I can't imagine a week without AMS Live. I started watching in like March, so I genuinely don't know. But do I also stream in the winter? I do, Marcus, I do. Year round. Have a look at this. Her Majesty the Queen. First 747 of the day. The other coming in the show, featuring that will feature in the show, is from KLM Cargo. Now, unfortunately, last time we checked, the ETA was 11:33. And like the Saudi Eye yesterday, that makes it a candidate for the center runway, which should be open by then. Little sip of vodka is definitely a requirement. Make sure you stay hydrated adequately. Cathay Pacific Cargo Flight 65 arriving from Dubai World Center is what we see over there. And here in the foreground, BA Flight 430 which is arriving from London Heathrow. And there's an airplane turning in behind the 7478. That's Air Canada Flight 900 arriving from Montreal, Canada. Hey there, Boreas. Gallows Close, good morning. Leo, goedemorgen. Welcome to the show, everybody. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. And this is the first queen of the show. Cathay Pacific Cargo, Flight 65. And an Air Canada Dreamliner, now is number 2. The airplane that you hear, that is the BA. I also am seeing an airplane passing overhead. A quick excursion because it is a special livery from Air Baltic with those hideous green engine casings. A coincidental passerby. Cathay Pacific Cargo is arriving from Dubai World Center and the flight time has been 7 hours and 2 minutes. Bravo Lima, Juliet Foxtrot is the registration. Let's look and listen. Will it get loud? Indeed, John, finally we agree on a paint job. Paint job of that Air Baltic. Oh, keep struggling with finding the proper balance. Earlier in the show I noticed that it was a bit front heavy, now it was a bit back heavy. Let's see if it is better balanced now. A warm welcome to everybody who has joined. Potter, good morning. Alan, good morning, mate. If you saw her land just now and you were in time to witness that, perfect timing indeed, mate. Hope you've been well. Let's quickly turn around because Air Canada Flight 900 is next to land here. Air Canada Flight 900 arriving from Montreal, 6 hours and 14 minutes on the way. The Charlie Golf Hotel Papa uniform. The airplane is 11 years old. First flight was in July 2014. Hey Johan, goedemorgen. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes. Clouds, goedemorgen. Welcome to the show, everybody else. Happy Friday. As you can see, it is a beautiful sunny day with not a lot of wind. What wind there is blowing more or less from the west today. And that means a continuation of yesterday's runway use, with the Polderbaan being in use for primary runway, as primary runway for arrivals. Quickly turning around for another Dreamliner KLM, flight 668, arriving from Austin in Texas. There it is. 8 hours and 56 minutes underway. The Papa Hotel, Bravo Hotel Echo. Joas is asking if it is passenger or cargo. What are you talking about? Cathay Pacific? All 747s to Schiphol are cargo only. And Air Canada is passenger. If it has windows like this one, it's passenger. If it doesn't, it is cargo. And it usually also says that it is cargo on the outside of the airplane. Indeed, Clouds, you missed a 747. She is on her way to the main platform area over there. Michael, goedemorgen. Borea says that I am even being recommended by ChatGPT. Is that so? What query did you enter that ChatGPT suggested AMS Live? That is funny. Alrighty, let's have a look. We have two airplanes visible in the background. ITA Airways, the first ITA of the show. Bombardier C-Series 100 from Milan, flight 120. And ITA Airways flight 108 is also approaching, arriving from Rome, A320neo. Considering it is 10:40, I would think the second ITA is also assigned to the Polderbaan already, since I'm pretty sure it's going to land within 20 minutes from now. Here in the foreground, Delta Airlines flight 56, which is returning to Amsterdam from Salt Lake City in Utah. And that's a 9.5 hour flight, almost, 9 hours 25 minutes. A330neo. You can spool up the reversers now, thank you. Just a little bit. Edward, good morning. Kevin, good morning, goedemorgen. One Switch, good morning, and thank you for the kind words. Edward, and just play nuts also back in the chat. Steven, good morning, mate. And Edward is tuning in all the way from the Philippines. Hope you've had a good day. Me, myself, good morning. Thomas, guten Morgen, herzlich willkommen. Flock of birds. That shot away. As I was pointing the camera back to the glide slope, and then all of a sudden I saw the group of birds making a run for it. Ronald says that an F-35 just took over the sound over here. That's nice. Wish they'd do that over here sometime. ITA Airways flight 120 is the next airplane to land, and what a beaut, isn't it? It's an A220 Bombardier C-Series, arriving from Milan. 1 hour 27 minutes the flight time, and this one is Italian registered. The registration starting with an I instead of EI, in which case it is Irish registered. Nice spacious carrying cabin in the back. Allora, benvenuti in Olanda. No message for us? Nope, sadly not. Carlo also back in the chat. Mate, thank you so much for your piece of pie super sticker. I still have a quarter cherry pie left. I bought a half pie and we basically had half of that yesterday. So there's another piece of pie incoming later today. Looking forward to it already. Cherry pie. Cherry pie with small scrapings of white chocolate. Absolutely delightful. Second Dutch aviation guy, good morning. Kevin, good morning. Milan, good morning. KC7XR, good morning. Here we have an E2 Umbrella 195 KLM flight 1930, arriving from Geneva. I say Geneva. Yeah, it is Geneva. Was only quick enough to see the flight number. Lars, guten Morgen. MVDL, goedemorgen. Welcome to the show, everybody. Two more wide bodies in the glide slope, back to back. KLM flight 749 in the foreground, arriving from Cartagena. And United Airlines flight 968, arriving from San Francisco behind it. 777-200 and a 787-10. Carlo, mate, thank you so much for your cup of coffee super chat. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. Iced coffee is absolutely lovely on a day like today. If you have decent iced coffee, of course. Hey there, Olaf. Good morning. Welcome back, mate. And that's a nice catch, Richard. Guten Morgen, Uwe. Herzlich willkommen. Happy Friday. This is KLM flight 749, arriving from Cartagena, which is in Colombia, which is right next to Ecuador. Flight time 9 hours and 22 minutes. This is the Papa Hotel, Bravo Kilo Golf. Thomas, goedemorgen. Good morning, mate. Good to see you again, mate. Hope all is well. Big picture overview. We have people over there to the south. This is what things look like to the west. This is what things look like to the east. Right now, the bluest skies are east of me instead of west of me. Usually it's the other way around. Maybe later in the day it's going to switch. It's usually more sunny in coastal regions, and then inward it's usually more cloudy on summer days. Right now it's still the opposite, but we'll see. Either way, the sun is shining abundantly, and luckily there is a bit of a breeze, albeit less than yesterday. Makes it bearable still. This is United flight 968, arriving from San Francisco. 9 hours and 38 minutes the flight time. 777-200 November 225, Uniform Alpha is the registration. And the age of this airplane is 23. First flight, November 2001. BBQ Donkey, good morning. Yes, and Jerome is back in the chat. Good to see ya. Okay, so what was the query that you asked ChatGPT that ChatGPT came with the suggestion of AMS Live? Interesting. What is possible? Schiphol spotting webcams or live streams. There are YouTube streams that show live footage from the Polderbaan, for instance arrivals or departures on runway 18 right Polderbaan. Well, we don't see departures from 18 right, I'll tell you that. We'll probably see hell freezing over first. No, but it's of course 36 left. Technically speaking. Here is the second ETA. This is the one arriving from Rome. Interesting that ChatGPT has found the channel. Alrighty. The boat is returning. And security is on the cycling path. And the next airplane coming in is an E2 Embraer 195 from KLM arriving from Copenhagen, flight 1268. We have an A320 behind it. That's Airlines, I think, from Erbil. Airlines, operated by BHR, arrived from Erbil in Iraq. Third airplane should be turning in the background from the left. Another arrival from London Heathrow. And the Embraer over here in the foreground is an E2 Embraer arriving from Copenhagen. Flight 1268. Papa Hotel, November X-Ray India is the registration. And it seems that we've crossed through 300 likes. Thank you all so much for that. If you are enjoying what you're seeing and you want to help this channel for free, liking and subscribing if you haven't done so already is the way to go. It'll help promote the channel's content to new people, new viewers who haven't heard of the channel yet, but who are also interested in live aviation streams. The cockpits of E2s just, well, Embraers in general are very well constructed for looking in. No reflections, not too dark, big enough, makes it easy to see the first officer, and often in the past has already resulted in eye contact and waving. In the meantime, Jerome, aka Captain Jerry Donnelly, he just now went ahead and gifted 5 memberships. Jerry, you didn't have to do that. Thank you so much for your generosity, Jerry. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, new members. Don't forget to say thank you to Jerome if you are one of the recipients of his 5 gifted memberships. Have fun with the custom emojis. They're there to be had fun with. That goes for all members, new and old. Whether your membership was gifted or not, it doesn't matter. Have fun with them. Get creative with them. And if you enjoy your gifted membership, consider renewing it if it expires. Jerry, thank you so much for your generosity and welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, new members. KC7XR is in EasyJet 7928 returning from vacation. Where are you flying back from? Airlines returning from Iraq, Erbil. It seems that bird control now also has arrived on the scene. Bird control over there. Hey! Stranger also back in the chat, good to see ya. Stranger asks if I saw Jerry yesterday. I didn't. I think he was still at Kaagbaan by the time I wrapped up. It's already starting to get more busy. You can see more people at the Spottersplatz itself already. Yesterday when I arrived it was very busy already. This despite the warm temperatures. And over there at the parking lot, the relative absence of wind. It's usually less windy over there than it is over here out in the field, the open field. So on a day like yesterday, I definitely would have walked up to the north to be exposed to more wind when spotting if I had a choice. Good morning, Ashley. Random Aussie, good morning. And welcome to the show, everybody else. Aegean is coming in next, arriving from Athens, as always. It's 5 minutes to the hour, so I am thinking pretty soon we are going to see airplanes arriving from Athens and other destinations lying to the east of the Netherlands, flying to the center runway. It's going to open up pretty soon, round 11. This is one of the last airplanes that has arrived from the east that has been assigned to the Polderbaan for the next 40 minutes. Now, unlike the A319 from SAS that we saw earlier, this actually is an Airbus A321neo. A neo, I should say, more generally speaking. The SAS had the same cockpit window look, but it was an old school A319. The fake Rolex under the airplanes. A cheap knockoff. Indeed, Ashley, popular spotting spot. The Polderbaan, one of the two official spotters places that Schiphol Airport has. The other being near the McDonald's on the other side of the airport. Although there's not much to see except construction for the time being. The runway running right in front of the Spottersplatz over there has been closed for several months now and is expected to stay closed until the end of next month. Major maintenance operation, they're renewing everything. The tarmac, the lights, the ILS, everything. And since it is a runway that is often used when we have storms in the storm season, because usually that's a westerly or southwesterly storm, and then the runway 0927 is best aligned to be used. They chose to renew everything in the summer months. So over there at the Spottersplatz at the McDonald's you can have burgers and fries, but with respect to airplanes it's a bit less interesting than it normally would be. Still you can see action over there. Oostbaan, runway 0422. General Aviation at the General Aviation platform is still used regularly for biz jets, taking off and landing. Also the regular occurrence of the Coast Guard, the Dash 8100. You can also see quite regularly over there the maintenance hangars, so all the wide bodies that need maintenance are being towed to and from the gates to the hangars that are over there. So you can still see a lot, but you have to look closely, and there's also things in the way. A lot of excavators that were there last time I was there, which granted was a while back in June with the NATO summit. Mr. F is also back in the chat, good morning. 01 Mike D, good morning. KLM flight 1762 this is, an Embraer 190 and an Embraer 175 from KLM, arriving from Munich after that. Iberia with a special sticker out in 3 minutes is what Wolfgang is saying. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, a special sticker. That sounds interesting. I wonder what it will be. I think I can see the first airplane on flight radar that has been assigned to land on the center runway. It's the EasyJet arriving from Prague. It's getting busy with approaches, with arrivals. though the next airplane after this is a bit further away still. That's Air Arabia Morocco flight 127 arriving from Tangier. I do see that Air Canada flight 808 is looking to become the third arrival here on the Polderbaan. Steven says y'all need a food cart for the pathway on Polderbaan. Nah, there's a fries truck and an ice cream truck on the parking lot. People will just have to walk back if they want some food. Positive development is that they also placed more lavatories over there on the parking lot. They've doubled the capacity. There are now 4 closed toilets that the ladies can use and the gentlemen can pee if they need to pee on 2 urinal contraptions. Although granted, the one that was standing there is still broken, and 3 of the 4 units are actually filled to the brim with liquid. Russell is sitting there on his throne overlooking things and thinking, yes, that's the way I like it.
That's the way, I like it,
Air Arabia Morocco is going to be next. It's still a bit away. Air Canada is turning in. And I'm wondering if we can see that in a few moments. Oh yeah, it's established and at the 7 o'clock above the pipes. There it is. There's the Air Canada Dreamliner. Jerome asks if you can barbecue next to the pathway. That's a good question. I'd have to consult the local rules and regulations of the municipality, because it might be forbidden in that. But there are no signs over here saying that it is forbidden, nor that it is condoned, so I'm not sure which it is. In my case, if I would consider throwing a barbecue, I would first text Officer Rulov and ask him. He'll probably know. I think it's... I'm not sure. The answer is I don't know. More vodka. Right, so if you look on Flight Radar, you can see it is actually busy in the skies around Schiphol. Arrivals from the left and from the right. Parallel arrivals have begun. Expected to stay in progress until approximately 10:40. This is Air Arabia Morocco flight 127 arriving from Tangier, which is in Morocco, which is in the north of
Africa.
Flight time from Tangier has been 2 hours and 43 minutes. This airplane is 13 years old. First flight was in September 2011. Parallels arrivals have commenced. Next airplane to the Polderbaan, already relatively close by. It's looking like a bank robber or a raccoon. Don't know which of the two it is, but hide your money just to be safe. Air Canada Flight 808 is arriving from Toronto, Canada. 6 hours and 49 minutes on the way. The Charlie Golf Hotel Papa X-Ray. Now the Quebec in the registration. And I can see. Trader. If I were Air Canada, all my airplanes would at least have one Q in their registration. Just because it is Quebec. The airplane we're now looking at is 10 years old. First flight was in October 2014. Howdy Marcel, goedemorgen. Welcome back, mate, and welcome to the show, everybody else who joined us in the meantime. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. No ducks to be seen yet. Most of the birds that we have seen are not aquatic. Well, all of them, I would go so far to say. Here he is over there, and he looks pissed. What you looking at? There's a murder of crows, a crew of crows. Conspiring the next murder attempt. Better keep my eyes on them. Arrivals taking place here on Polderbaan, one of two runways now in use for arrivals, together with the center runway. If you joined us only later, you may have missed the arrival of the first 747 already. There is another 747 coming in pretty soon. Around 11:30 last time we checked. Now, unfortunately, that means it's probably going to land on the center runway. And I'm also still not sure about the Emirates A380. What I am reasonably certain of is the Transavia Retro, which is expected around 12:30, a time where only one runway is going to be open in full as well. Returning from Porto in Portugal. So I'm thinking the Transavia is probably going to land over here. Although, this is Schiphol Airport, nothing is ever 100% certain. Embraer after Embraer over here. No, I need to look lower, there it is. Lufty 747 by the looks of it. Now this is Iberia with a sticker. Allegedly. If it is still on the airplane, it is a unilateral sticker that is placed on the other side, because this looks like a bland Iberia standard livery. Although it does have a nice little crown next to the Spanish flag, it must be said. But that is it. Right, well, new sticker, there you go. Royal Air Maroc. Operated by SmartLinks, coming in next. That's over there. SmartLinks operating on behalf of Royal Air Morocco flight 1656, arriving from Nador, also in Morocco in the north of fireworks being set off by the firefighters, by the bird controller, who is more towards the fire station right now. Hey there, Glenn. Good to see you. Welcome back, and welcome to the show, everybody else. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're still at Polderbaan. Primary runway for arrivals. Parallel arrivals in progress until approximately 11:40. Casper the Ghost. Casper the Ghost. Now, Sprayer also coming by. It's the same Agrafag as we saw yesterday. What a chunker. Yeah, cyclists, get out of the way.
Oh, bitch, get out the way. Get out the way, bitch, get out the way.
And you can see more people gathering. Scale of chimney smoke is currently looking like so, and that seems to indicate that there's a bit more wind now than there was earlier in the show. I don't necessarily feel it over here per se, but it's definitely windy, moderately windy, as it was yesterday. That's a good thing, otherwise you would just melt away. This is Transavia with one of their many 737-800s. None of the Transavias have a Karen cabin. Not a good airline for Karen to be flying in. No separate cabin for her. You can speak to the manager all you want. Futile. Next airplane shall be WestJet Flight 70, the MAX 8 737, arriving from Halifax in Canada. 6 hours and 6 minutes this airplane has flown to get here. Must be a month and a half or so now that they have started their route to Amsterdam. Still wondering how cramped are those seats and how filled are those airplanes. Thinking in the opposite direction, I'm not thinking that there's a big demand in the Netherlands for flying to Halifax. So I'm wondering what the demand the other way around is going to be. Kevin is indicating that the 747 is going to the center runway as expected. We shall still be able to see it quite well from over here. This is WestJet Flight 70. That's a MAX 8 737. 6 hours and 7 minutes it has flown to get here. Wolfgang says that there's a Lufty A340 over Leiden, west to east. Well, this is what the sky looking towards Leiden is currently looking like. I am not seeing any contrails or anything. So, don't think I am able to show you the A340, Wolfgang. And Maria says, Gerrit has a message for you. Let's see. Did you have a nice birthday yesterday? I definitely did. Hope you found my donation on your bank account this week. I haven't checked my bank account, Gerrit, but if you have a donation, if you've donated, thank you so much, Gerrit. You didn't have to do that, you know that. Absolutely not necessary. I don't check my bank account that regularly because I don't use it that often. It's a dedicated account for AMS Live, so only when I need to do stuff, buy stuff, I check the bank account. So I don't check that on a daily basis. But if you donated, thank you so much, Gerrit. And yes, the birthday yesterday was pleasant. This is play. Last couple of months before it will no longer fly to the Netherlands. Pity that unless I announce that we need to make the chat bleed, the custom emojis are not being used that often. Such a shame. 34 custom emojis. So much spamming you guys can do, so little that you use them. Right, let's see what else is in the pipeline. Narrowbody in the foreground, KLM flight 1042 arriving from Birmingham. And in the background, a KLM 777-200 that is arriving from Toronto. Hey, and thank you, Glenn. Zigozar, good evening. I was about to say good evening. Good morning. So it is 11:16. Parallel arrivals underway. And expected to stay underway for another 25 or so minutes. I'll use my Visa card. Next up, KLM flight 969. No, 696. That's arriving from Toronto, Canada. 777-200. Airplane visible in the background is Air Arabia Maroc flight 121, arriving from Nador. And this is the Papa Hotel Bravo Quebec November that we see here in the foreground. 6 hours and 44 minutes on the way. The airplane is 19 years old. The first flight was in April 2006. Beluga will pass north of Alkmaar in 3 to 5 minutes. Once again, KLM Asia. I'm wondering how big is the KLM Asia fleet of Schiphol, of KLM, by the way. Does anybody know, or maybe does ChatGPT know? I'm wondering, because I have the feeling we see them so regularly. Now let's see, A320. Air Arabia Maroc, and then KLM Embraer 190 arriving from London City, KLM Embraer 175 arriving from Southampton, KLM 737 arriving from Paris, 767 Unitad arriving from Houston, coming in next. 8 or so, Wouter says, okay. And L Gamer is also back. Good to see you, mate. Welcome to the show, one and all. Second 747 is KLM Cargo. Although, apparently already having been assigned to the wrong runway. It was only yesterday that the Saudi 747 that was expected around the same time actually got assigned to our runway. It was Saudia, wasn't it? Or was it a different one? No, I think it was Saudia. So I guess yesterday we really had a lucky day. Also with the back-to-back 747 and A380 and a bonus queen. Not sure if we're going to get a bonus queen today. I'm not counting on it. It's not a bonus queen for nothing, obviously. Hey Jackie, good to see you, mate. Welcome back. Seven times 777-200 one times Boeing 777-300 according to JetGPT. So indeed, 8 triples that are KLM Asia. There you go. Interesting. Beluga flying west to east over Alkmaar. Well, again, this is what the northerly sky looks like right now. It's more milky than I would have liked. If the sky had been perfectly blue, undoubtedly I would have been able to catch the beluga instantaneously, because we've seen before that when it passes by in the vicinity of Alkmaar, it is visible from over here. But right now I'm looking for a needle in a haystack, and unless you guys can see more than I can see, I do see something that has passed by over there right now. Where was that? Don't tell me that this is it. Nope, I found a condor instead. Okay. Yeah, another beluga, but we did manage to catch. Yeah, no, I think with the current sky conditions, it's impossible to see. By the time I'll be able to see it, it'll be too far away regardless. Further to the east, the sky is more blue. Twin jet passed overhead not too long ago. In the meantime now, further to the west already. You might be able to hear it on the mic. Ah, for crying out loud. I thought that the first officer was making eye contact, so I initiated a wave. That is such a shame. Right, KLM flight 1402 is next. Arriving from Paris, and after that it is 767 time. First up, KLM flight 1402, arriving from Paris, 737-800. No carrying cabin on board. There's the first 767 of the day. Jakaria also back in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Suzanne, goedemorgen. What? No, Suzanne is tuning in from Nepal. I think that's a first. Tuning in from Nepal. Welcome, Suzanne. Or Susan. Is it Susan or Suzanne? Probably Susan. We have a 767-300ER arriving from Houston in Texas over here. 9 hours and 12 minutes. This airplane is underway. Flight 20, the November 643 Uniform Alpha. And this airplane has been cruising through life for 34 years already. First flight of this airplane was in May 1991. So there you go. If you're starting to hear somebody, there's somebody walking in front of the microphone. And he's calling, so you might pick up his sound. Nothing wrong with this machine. Seems to be working perfectly fine still. Oh, Mr. President is also tuning in from Nepal. Whoa! And it's Suhan. Sujan. Huh? Okay, that's confusing. Aphrodite also back in the chat. Good to see you, Aphrodite. Hope all is well. Sujan. Confusing. Dicer Rebel in the chat as well. Welcome to the show, everybody. EasyJet A319 arriving from Bristol next. And after that, Transavia, which is arriving from Barcelona. Flight 5132. The 747 from KLM is now turning final. Unfortunately, it's going to the wrong runway. I am already looking over my camera somewhat to see if I can catch a glimpse of it. Don't think I have it yet. Not sure to what extent it is visible already from over here. Still pretty far to the north or as we speak. And what a coincidence, Andrew, that KLM Cargo is also lining up on center. Oh, of course, it's the landing airplane, yeah. Yeah, I saw that. I thought there was another airplane leaving as we speak, another KLM Cargo, but... Well, at least we can see the 747 a bit better from here today than we could yesterday. Queen number 2. Unfortunately, the runway is...
Wrong.
Gear is extending. And Jakaria, if you're asking me, I haven't turned 26 yesterday. I turned 43 yesterday. I don't think I can even remember when I turned 26, to be honest. Her Majesty the Queen, amidst a slew of narrow bodies. It's to both runways, all narrow bodies, so let's keep our eye focused on the 747. The only wide body in the immediate vicinity of Schiphol coming in. This is Martin Air Cargo. No, Martin Air operated by KLM Cargo operated by Martin Air. That's the proper way to announce it. Flight 9442. And obviously this is a 747-400 freighter arriving from Almaty. 7 hours, 11 minutes on the way as we speak. The Papa Hotel, Charlie Kilo Charlie, the CKC. It's a 21-year-old airplane. First flight was in January 2004. In the meantime, an Embraer 190 is landing over here, and you are probably going to hear its sound on the ambient microphone in a moment. Hey there, Rodney. Happy Friday, mate. Hey there, Connie. Good morning. Hey Lorenzo, morgen man. Bada bing, bada boom. Second queen has landed. If all is well, the next quad squad should be the Emirates A380. Last time we checked, its ETA was around 1 o'clock. Let's have a quick look on Flight Radar and see what we can make of the ETA of the A380 right now. 103 still, so that's not good. That looks like becoming a landing on center as well. Transavia Retro is back underway. Its ETA is 12:22. That's good news. That's still the time where only the Polderbaan is open for arrival. So if all is well, we are going to see that on this runway without an issue. The METAR in the ticker is updated automatically, but sometimes it's nice to have a look at the visuals. And you can see that with this runway in use, the wind is blowing perpendicularly. 7 knots of wind means that every bit of wind is crosswind. It's 26C, very comparable with yesterday, although the wind is a tad less than yesterday. It's a cavalcade day all day, by the looks of it thus far. Right. In the meantime, I can also see that Harry has come a bit closer and is now standing in the grass next to me. And Russell is not liking it. Russell is over there and he is complaining that the heron is getting too close to us. He's over there complaining. We have Harry over here. Harry doesn't care. Harry the hypnotizing heron. Still looking for little ducklings, but they're not to be seen. I haven't seen any ducklings here, or ducks for that matter. Alrighty. Singapore A350 lineup, runway 24, and the A340 is on radar also for runway 24. Wolfgang is indicating. Oh, in the meantime, we also have seen clouds forming land inward. So I'm wondering how much longer before it's not going to be cavalcade here anymore. Those clouds definitely seem to be forming at lower than 5,000 feet. If they're forming in the vicinity of the Schiphol area, it's no longer a cavalcade day. I spoke too soon just now. Thus far it has been cavalcade, but I'm thinking we might start seeing some friendly cumulus clouds here pretty soon. It's what you usually see happening on summer days. Coastal regions more sunny, more cloudiness, land inwards. The A350 is rolling and we can transition smoothly to the Singapore Airlines A350. Taking off to Singapore, flight 323, there it is. On its way out. Russell Crowe still vying for attention. Ronnie says those are some scary looking eyes. Yeah, Harry the Heron can... we don't call him Harry the Hypnotizing Heron for nothing. He definitely has hypnotizing eyes. Marco, goedemorgen. Brandon, goedemorgen. Good morning. Brandon is asking about the Orange Pride. I thought it arrived from Singapore early in the morning and was not scheduled to leave again until tomorrow. I think it was scheduled to go to Atlanta tomorrow morning. So I'm thinking they have towed it away to a maintenance hangar to do some maintenance maybe. Or put it on a parking not adjacent to a gate. Nice, Marco is flying to Crete on Wednesday. How long will you be staying there? How warm is it there right now, dare I ask? 30 plus probably. Next up KLM, flight 1944, arrived from Basel, Embraer 190. And after that, Delta Airlines, flight 162, arriving from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and that is an A330-300. Before this airplane is getting really close by, let me first take a small sip of something to drink. 36 degrees, that's pretty warm, Marco. Then again, you're probably not going to go there to do extensive hiking and whatnot, but probably to relax and take it easy. As long as it is decent weather and it's not rainy or anything. I don't think you'll be seeing that a lot in the upcoming time. Or do you? Will you? Last time I checked, most of Europe was basking in sunshine. And although the Benelux was relatively cool until a few days ago, now the heat wave has also the heat has also come to the Netherlands. I think today will be the 5th consecutive day of temperatures above 25, and we already had 2 days where the temperature was above 30. So I think tonight or today they'll declare the official second heat wave of the year here in the Netherlands. This is Delta Airlines flight 162, arriving from Minneapolis, Minnesota. 7 hours 41 minutes on the way, A330-300. The November 817 November Whiskey. Now descending with a speed of 143 knots. Well, that's not the vertical speed. That is the speed at which it is coming this way. Will it use the reversers? Oh. Yep. That is a full bingo card landing. Butter landing, wheelie, and reversers to boot. DB Basement also back, good to see you, mate. 24C in London right now. That's nice and comfortable, bobbers. Not that I'm jealous. And Buddy says that the second heat wave was official about an hour ago. Well, there you go. In the Netherlands, it's only an official heat wave if the temperature rises above 25°C for 5 days in a row in the Bilt, which is really right next to the centrally located city of Utrecht. The Dutch Met Office, originally located over there, that's where their HQ is based. So if the weather station over there says it's above 25 and then 2 of those 5 days is above 30, we'll call it a heat wave. Harry has moved, but he keeps watching me. He keeps watching me. Oh? And wishy-washy. Personal hygiene. Very important. "23°C in Stockholm," Connie says, and thunderstorms on the way. That doesn't sound too great. The temperature sounds great, the thunderstorms less so. This is a typical pattern that you see on summery days. Wind blowing from the west, it's blowing land inward to the east, and there the heat of the earth is warming up the air. The air rises, the moisture in the air condensates and forms clouds. Ashley says 25°C over 3 consecutive days before it's a heat wave in the UK. Really? Easy to get a heat. It's easier to get a heat. If you need to get a heat wave, it's easier to get it in the UK than in the Netherlands then. Ah, is it 3 days of 30 plus? I thought it was 2. Dion says for an official heat wave we have to have 3 days of 30 plus. I thought it was 2, but if it is 3 I stand corrected. I'm pretty sure it's 5 days, 25 plus, and then apparently of which 3 instead of 2, 30 plus. Either way, today, the second heat wave officially declared.
Get out the way. Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way.
Be gone, heat wave. Hadi Thijs, goedemorgen. And welcome to the show, everybody else. If you joined us only just now, you may have missed the landing of 2 747s already. One of them landed on the wrong runway, one of them landed on this runway. There is an A380 underway, and before that, around 12:30, we ought to see, well, 12:20 last time we checked, we ought to see the Transavia Retro. The airplane featured on the thumbnail today. It should land on this runway since this is the only runway open by then. Then again, you never know for sure. It has happened before, a couple of times already, that even though there's one runway open, arriving airplanes were assigned to a different runway that wasn't even formally open. But if all is well, and I'm assuming it's going to be, we are going to see the A321neo from Transavia, the Retro, over here, well, in just under 45 minutes. The A380 is expected around 1 o'clock. Last time we checked, its ETA was 1:03, and that is unfortunately a time when 2 runways are open. If it stays 103, the ETA, I'm calling it for center. Twin jet in the distance coming my way. In parts of the sky where there's no milkiness, you can see far away quite clearly, and particularly if the airplane is producing a contrail, it's easy to see. The beluga, unfortunately, we weren't able to see today. We've seen it several times before already. Pretty sure we'll see it again sometime soon. KLM flight 1174 arriving from Stavanger, and then number 190 arriving from Humberside after that. It's 11:45, and you probably have noticed that the parallel arrivals have stopped. Once again, everything coming into Schiphol will land here on the runway we are standing next to. Bigger airplane in the distance already visible, that's KLM flight 604 arriving from LAX, that's 777-200ER. Hadi Thijs, goedemorgen. And Dr. Drax, goedemorgen. Dr. Drax asks if I got something nice for my birthday yesterday. Well, the stream was a nice enough gift already. Other than that, no. I did buy myself and Lisa a bit of pie. We had some pie to celebrate. But other than that, I haven't celebrated my birthday in decades. But I got a lot of birthday wishes also from all of you. Thank you once again for the many birthday wishes yesterday and after yesterday's stream. I think the biggest gift I received yesterday was the beautiful stream with a bonus queen and the A340, the A380 and the 747 landing back to back. That definitely made my day. That was so amazing. Hey, and thank you so much, Brandon. Marci is asking if I'll be there tonight. Unfortunately, the answer is no. Hey, thank you, Patrick. Thank you so much. Next airplane is KLM, flight 601, arriving from LAX. 9 hours, 57 minutes on the way. Now here's the Papa Hotel, Bravo, Quebec, Oscar. The airplane is 18 years old. First flight January 2007. I'm actually starting to feel that the wind is picking up. What? That's a good thing. First of all, it keeps yours truly and my equipment a bit cooler. Second of all, since the wind is blowing perpendicularly to the runway heading, it means more crabbing for the airplanes if this is going to continue. Thought that the TAF was indicating something to the effect of more wind. Let's have a quick look while we have a few moments to see what the TAF is actually indicating today. So this is the METAR and the TAF is the indicated weather. Indicating clear weather. It's indicating that the wind is expected to pick up later in the day up to 13 knots. And the wind is expected to turn to the north. That's interesting because the more northerly the wind will get, the more likely a runway change is also thinking, yeah, with the wind becoming more northerly, what they'll probably first do is they'll land on the north-south runways. They'll still use the Kaagbaan probably. Might be that they even, if the wind becomes even further northerly, that they even they'll even close the Kaagbaan, and they'll start using the 3 north-south oriented runways. So whether or not this runway here is going to stay open for arrivals all the day, for the remainder of the day, I highly doubt if the TAF is going to come true. You'll probably see that at some point later today they'll close the runway for arrivals and they'll start using it for departures. Polderbaan is a preferential runway of Schiphol Airport, so they will use it whenever possible. And of course, if the wind becomes more northerly, the tailwind becomes greater. So it might be that if you were to visit the runway later in the day, you'll see that they have switched to departures. For now, that's not the case. I still feel the wind blowing from behind me when I am facing to the north. What is coming in next? Well, still wide narrow bodies for the time being. JetBlue is first, arriving from Boston, Massachusetts, flight 631. This is an A321neo, November 4048 Juliet. 6 hours 49 minutes on the way, so it took this airplane a bit longer than the A380 usually needs to get from Dubai to Amsterdam. Oh, have a look. Harry just now landed, I think maybe 10-15 meters away from me. Moped incoming. I hope the moped will not chase him away, because he's sitting right next to me. Nope, he already got scared. And he's even gotten closer to me. So Harry the Heron. Let me zoom out completely. Now you can see just how close he is. I think he is less than 10 meters away from me. This is zooming in, full optical zoom. He doesn't seem to be frightened by me. Yeah, have a look. Oh, no, zoom in on him. Zoom in on him. Press, yeah, that's where you need to focus, stupid camera. Oh. Wow. Now a buddy has arrived as well. So this is really like just, this is fully zoomed out, eh? This is just like a couple of meters away from me. You can see my shadow over here. This is like maybe 10 meters or so away. Lovely. Well, he's like a couple of meters away from me. He's just standing here right in front of me. It's a pity I don't have any food with me. If he's hungry, I would have loved to give him some food, but don't have any food with me, just water. I mean, vodka. Terrific. Makes for a good thumbnail, doesn't it? Flipping awesome. Right, A340 rolling on runway 24 is what Wolfgang is indicating. Oh, and me turning around the camera makes him go to the other side and his mate is following. Come on guys, no need to be afraid. I won't bite. Just like you, unlike you guys bite in duckies. Here she is, and thank you Wolfgang. A340 on its way to Suriname, to Paramaribo. Operated by USC. Climbing, climbing, climbing. Now unfortunately I'm standing closer to the parking lot, and that means also closer to the forest that is between the parking lot and us at the beginning of the cycling path. I'm going to tell you right away, those trees are going to get in our way. So this is the last bit of A340 that we can see. Right, Transavia arriving from Thessaloniki is the next arrival over here. It's one of the A321neos, flight 5806, 2 hours and 30 minutes on the way. Papa Hotel, Yankee Hotel, Zulu is the registration. The airplane a year old, first flight was in November 2023. Stephen also back in the chat, good to see you Stephen. Lovely weather over here. Wind has begun to pick up a little bit, actually. So a couple of things going on here weather-wise. The wind has begun to pick up. The wind is expected to switch from west to northwest and land inward. More friendly cirrus clouds are actually forming. We can see them grow. Over here, the sun is hiding behind high clouds, and looking to the west, where the wind currently is still blowing from more or less milkiness in the sky. What does that mean? The wind currently for the majority is crosswind. That means that more wind equals more crabbing for the airplanes. Right now, not very substantial yet, but it might become a bit more substantial as the wind picks up. Then again, it might also get a little less when it becomes more tailwind instead of crosswind, which is what the TAF is expecting. Let's see how it's playing out. For now, this is the only runway in use for arrivals, and this is EasyJet flight 22515. Now, look away if you're gluten intolerant, because this airplane might give you the cramps. 37 minutes on the way. Golf Echo Zulu Tango Hotel is the registration. Guest. And this guest with TH is landing here. So there's a guest in the Netherlands. Who would have guessed? Yesterday, all my troubles seemed so far away. Hey René, the truck driver. What time will you be passing by if you want to honk? Because I'm not going to stay here all day, so depending on the time, if you are in the vicinity, feel free to honk. The wind is still blowing in our direction from the N205, so looking forward to that. John Dutch Canadian is also back in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Welcome back. Hope you've been well. And welcome to the show, everybody else who joined in the meantime. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We are here at Polderbaan, where we began the day with more sunshine than we currently are experiencing. Temperatures comparable with what they were yesterday. Mid to high 20s, 80s to 90s Fahrenheit, in other words. There's an A380 underway, expected in an hour or so from now. Thus far, it has been a candidate for the center runway, considering its ETA with a few minutes past 1. Very likely candidate for the center runway. In 20 or so minutes from now, if all is well, we are going to see the Transavia Retro A321neo, which is underway now from Porto in Portugal. If all is well, it should land here, considering that there's only one runway open around the time of arrival. But like I said before, and I'll say it again, this is Schiphol Airport, anything is possible, and we have seen it happen. That airplanes all of a sudden got directed to seemingly closed runways, and just randomly as well. AJ is also back in the chat. Ali, good to see ya. Hope the moving is going well. Nice to see you again. Lionel, goedemorgen. Is it morning still? Well, it's afternoon now, I think. The next airplane should be, yeah, there it is, flying base. That is KLM flight 758 arriving from Panama City. That's a 777-300 on short circuit. You can see that the majority, well, basically the entirety of the Netherlands still has school holidays. Many people have shown up here and are continuing further north over the cycling path. Many of the people who have arrived are also behind me at the Polderbaan parking lot and in the grass in between where I'm standing and that parking lot. Zulurk is also back. Good to see you, Zulurk. Welcome back. And Lance Plains and More has also returned. Welcome back, mate. This is KLM flight 758 arriving from Panama City. 777-300 Papa Hotel Bravo Victor Victor. 9 hours 44 minutes on the way. The airplane is 4 years old. First flight December 2020. If you are in Panama City and you'll go a bit further to the south, you'll end up in Latin America. And once you enter Latin America and you come from the direction of Panama City, you'll end up pretty soon in
Ecuador!
There is another airplane turning in behind the 777, which I am not seeing yet, but we should start seeing it from the left pretty soon. Maybe you guys can see it already. I'm battling reflections here out in the field. Oh yeah, there it is, on the same height. Yeah, that's KLM flight 964, arriving from Teesside or Darlington, and Embraer 190. Erkops, goeiedag. Good to see you, mate. Yeah, more wind now, and I would say the wind has turned a little bit further to the north than just from the west, so slowly but surely more and more tailwind is also forming. The wind is increasing in speed. It's also opening up more. In other words, it's turning from west to north, which means that the tailwind component of the wind is becoming bigger. There will come a certain point where the tailwind component will become too great for most of the airplanes, and they'll have to resort to either closing the runway, which they're not going to do since this is a preferential runway and one runway is out of commission, but they will start using it in the opposite direction instead in the case of the Polderbaan. Question is, what time are they going to go ahead with the runway change? Right now it's still mostly crosswind, so I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I don't actually think it's going to happen in the duration of the remainder of the stream, but it is something that you can expect later in the day if you're planning on coming over or maybe watching a different stream later in the day. Looking to the east, you can see that those friendly clouds are growing. They're growing in number, they're growing in density, they're not growing in height yet, so no indications of showers forming, but you can see, and looking a bit further to the southeast, you can also see it land inward. Those clouds are forming over here where the wind is currently blowing from. Only high cirrus clouds you can see. Now it's almost looking like it's a hand open, the cloud over there. Maybe I'm just imagining things. It's always nice to look at clouds and see what you guys see in them. I'm sure psychologists will be able to make out things of your about your character from that. Next up is going to be KLM flight 964. That's number 190, arriving from Teesside or Darlington. It's another Britty hopper. 46 minutes on the way. It's the Golf Charlie Mike Zulu India. First flight of this airplane was in January 2014, making it 11 years old. Let's see, the next arrival is an E2 Embraer 195 over there. KLM flight 1004, arrival from London Heathrow. EasyJet is arriving next after that. And after that, it's back to another wide body. Delta Airlines flight 136, arrival from Detroit, Michigan, is looking to become the third arrival here. Erik also back in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Welcome back. Once again, and you'll probably hear that on the ambient mic as well, there's traffic overhead with a propeller. It's always hard to see. You can hear it more easily than you can see it. I was looking in the direction of the sun, and as it happens, I was also able to see a partial halo. It's not the brightest halo, but it is one nonetheless. Wouter, I know what you're up to. You said London, isn't that? Yes.
You know, fish, chips, cup of tea, bad food, worse weather, Mary fucking Poppins, London.
It's what you wanted to hear, isn't it? Alrighty. Next up, EasyJet flight 23301, arriving from Edinburgh in Scotland. 56 minutes on the way. The GUSM. That's Golf Uniform Zulu Hotel Mike. The airplane is 6 years old. First flight was in September 2018. Dutch Flight Simmer says Transavia Retro livery is coming to the Polderbaan. Has it been confirmed on Bezoekbus? That's good news. As expected, but you never know until you know for sure. Delta is turning final and is probably becoming visible from the left in the background in a few moments. Yep, there it is. Delta Airlines flight 136, arriving from Detroit, Michigan. And the Red Wine Express looking to become the third airplane arriving here after the Delta that we see turning in right now. Looks like the Red Wine Express is going to do a short circuit and is probably going to turn base pretty soon. Looking over the camera to the left to see if maybe I can spot a glimpse of it already. Not yet. I'm pretty sure we soon will. Dick has also entered the chat. Welcome back, Dick. Hope all is well. And that's Alan's local airport, Edinburgh. Only a short hour's flight away. Well, that and of course all the time you need to get to the airport, check in, check out, get to your destination. Still, it beats swimming over the Gulf of Yorkshire. Time for another Delta A330. This is flight 136, arriving from Detroit, Michigan. 7 hours, 26 minutes, underway now. And it's the November 808 November Whiskey. The airplane is 21 years old. First flight was in March 2004. Dick is mentioning in Dutch that this Airbus once used to belong to Northwest Airlines. See the last letters in the registration. Quite a few of the Delta A330s have the registration NW, or the last letters NW in the registration, November Whiskey. Isn't Delta more or less the reincarnation of what was left of Northwest once it went bankrupt? That's also why Delta has such a strong hub here in Amsterdam. All those Northwest airplanes. Northwest was already a partner of KLM until they went bust. Nice to see that there are still airplanes left that use their reversers. Hey Piotrke, good morning. Good to see you again, mate. Hope all is well. Paul, good afternoon. Welcome back. And Mehmet is also back. Mehmet, Mehmet just now went ahead and gifted the membership, and I see that Navy Jack is the recipient of the gifted membership. Welcome back, Navy Jack. Have fun with the custom emojis that are now once again at your disposal for a month. Don't forget to say thank you to Mehmet, which I'm pretty sure you will if you come back in the chat, hopefully sometime soon. Thank you so much, Mehmet, for your generosity. Richard, goedemiddag. Good to see you, mate. Quick sip of AMS Live vodka. And then it's back to the camera controls. Two 737s from KLM next. A 900 in the foreground, an 800 behind it. The 900 is returning from Bordeaux. In other words, it's the Red Wine Express. The other one is arriving from Bergen, which is not too far away. You'd think they take the car. Oh wait, shit, it's not the Dutch Bergen they're talking about, of course. Makes sense. Now there's also Bergen in the province of North Holland, not too far north of Schiphol actually. So it's a very lame attempt at making a joke, which is probably only understood by some people who know that Bergen is also a place in the Netherlands, in the north of Holland. And I wouldn't be surprised if there were more Bergens elsewhere in the world, if not in the Netherlands already. Anyway, this is the Red Wine Express, arriving from the one and only Bordeaux in France. 737-900, no carrying cabin on this one. Ah, there's also a Bergen in the province of Limburg, Patrick is saying. There you go. Hey Pete, goedemiddag. Good to see you, mate. Barry says, I'm so sad. I just went to the Gal en Gal, which is a liquor chain, a national chain of liquor stores in the Netherlands. He went to get him some AMS Live vodka, but they didn't have any. It's an exclusive, mate. It's an exclusive. Only for a selected few. John says that Air Canada goes on strike tomorrow. What? So no Air Canada airplanes to and from the Netherlands then tomorrow? Now it reminds me even more of South Park. 1, 2, 3, 4, Canada deserves more money. Canada going on strike. Well, umbrellas galore. I'm counting 3, if not more. Also lovely flowers, purplish, or at least that's what I would call them. But I'm color deficient, so what do I know about colors? Next up, Shamrock Flight 604, arriving from Dublin, Ireland, and after that should be KLM Flight 765. It's still turning in, base to final, should become apparent from the left in the background. That's arriving from Bonaire, A330-200. Cabin crew is demanding more money. Yeah, we could keep our money tomorrow. They're not coming to get it. Hey there, Werner. Goedemiddag. Good afternoon. Indeed, Marijke. Respect my authority. And Alan is wondering what a Karen cabin is. Well, you must have heard about Karen. And what a Karen is, she'll always ask if you don't know who she is. If she doesn't get what she wants, she'll start asking to speak to the manager. And some airplanes have a special cabin, especially for her, so that she doesn't have to sit with the plebs on the top, usually to the back of the fuselage. Not all airplanes come equipped with a Karen cabin, so whenever I see it or I don't see it, I often make a remark about it, so that Karens watching will know what airlines they need to fly in order to sit privately, and with which airlines or airplane types they have to sit next to the plebs. Ugh, the common people. Karen, being privileged and all, she'll want to know. It's a service I do to Karens, giving all that information. But you can see it for yourself. You can see that this A321neo does come equipped with a Karen cabin. It's right there. That's where she can sit or lie down even. Being completely separated from the common people, the plebs that sit in the main fuselage. Dave A010 is also back in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Welcome back. Hope you've been well. Bird Control K1, over here. Moritz, good afternoon. And good afternoon to everybody else. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're here at Polderbaan. The wind has been blowing from the west most of all. It's expected to turn further to the north. So I am expecting a runway change later in the day, since the wind is also expected to increase in speed. Landward, friendly clouds are forming. No rain was expected for the entirety of the Netherlands today, if I recall correctly. So it's probably going to be just friendly clouds and nothing more. Here we have KLM Flight 765 arriving from Bonaire. 9 hours and 11 minutes on the way. The PH AOA. Butter landing, but reversers being applied, probably not, considering it's KLM. We don't need reversers, we'll just roll out. Case in point, idle reverse landing. Still lovely aerodynamic braking, as it's technically speaking called. Indeed, Lisa, I'm not your buddy friend. I'm not your friend guy. I'm not your guy, buddy. I'm not your buddy friend. He's not your friend guy. Indeed, Richard, you can also use the box for mothers-in-laws, absolutely. And that is a good question, Dugman. how many Karens are there actually being subscribed to AMS Live? We'll have to find out, but not before we're watching the landing of the Transavia Retro. Here she is with that cutie, Boop the Snooty. Let's go with a little bit of additional digital zoom. If it looks a bit pixelated, it's because I'm using digital zoom now, so that we can see the airplane a bit closer by already. Here it is coming, returning from Porto in Portugal. Only a couple of weeks that this airplane has begun flying commercially. We saw its delivery flight a couple of weeks ago when we were standing at the Polderbaan, at the Kaagbaan. But since it arrived in the Netherlands and was delivered to Transavia, it hasn't sat still. It's the Papa Hotel, Yankee Hotel Delta. Returning from Porto in Portugal, 2 hours and 4 minutes the flight lasted. I think the thumbnail even has more sunshine than we do right now. Oh. Flap surfaces obviously still look immaculate. Indeed, Retro Transavia. Nice demonstration by Maria to get creative with the custom emojis, just like I implore you guys so regularly. Marta says, Kia makes a car just for Karens, it's called a Karen. I don't think that type is sold here in the Netherlands, though I am no expert on Kias, I will tell you. Hey, Ricardo is also in the chat. Hey, Ricardo has a question. When is the Buitenvelderbaan going to open again? Good question, Ricardo. It is expected to stay closed for maintenance until September 28th. That's at least what was the expected date when it was going to open again earlier. Now, I don't know if they are on schedule or if they are running behind. Considering that construction often gets delayed and runs behind schedule, I wouldn't be surprised if it is going to take a bit more. But September 28th, if I recall correctly, was the time until when Buitenvelderbaan is going to stay closed for maintenance. In the meantime, KLM Flight 1020 is landing, arriving from Leeds. Pretty hopper. Such a lovely airplane. If only KLM would also go ahead and turn one of their airplanes in a retro livery, or have one delivered in a retro livery. I think an A350 freighter in a KLM retro livery would look superb. Right, it's time for the narrow bodies once again. This is Transavia flight 5624, arriving from Palma de Mallorca, 737-800. The Papa Hotel Bravo November. Two hours and 7 minutes this flight from Palma de Mallorca has taken thus far. That dime in the dozen 737 standard livery looks so much more boring than that retro in the A321 retro livery, the A321 in the retro livery, I should say. Yeah, that looks infinitely better. Hey there, Hugo. Hey there, Ilona. Hey there, South Island Aviation. Okay, now let's see. It's 12:25. Another half hour or so, 35 minutes of just the Polderbaan for inbound traffic. The A380 is expected in half an hour or so from now. A 777 freighter with the gear already down is turning in, and there's also a Delta A330 turning in from the other side in the background. So I'm wondering, can we see both of them? Yeah. There's the other airplane. That's still a bit further away. So it's not really a beautiful ballet where you see two airplanes simultaneously turning in. You need right timing. Yesterday we had luck with timing. Right timing. Now it's back to a normal day. And no such luck. In the meantime, the Delta A330 has turned in and has become visible. Delta Airlines Flight 144 arrival from Seattle, Washington, A330-900, A330neo. Marcelo is back in the chat, good to see ya. And welcome to the show, all others. Not sure if I already said hi to Paul. Gear is extending on the number 2. And the number 1 is Qatar Cargo Flight 8207. Arrival from Doha. It's a 777 freighter. Registration Alpha 7 Bravo Foxtrot Foxtrot. BFF. It's the BFF. 6 hours precisely on the way according to flight radar. The airplane is 11 years old. First flight March 2014. Double wonders if it's not hot standing there. It would be if there were no wind, but luckily the wind is blowing as it was yesterday, so it's actually pretty decently doable. Still have to make sure you drink enough and have ample sunscreen applied to your skin. But I've been standing here on days where the ambient temperature was lower, but the wind was less and it was subjectively much warmer. Luckily there's wind and that makes it perfectly doable. A good indication of whether or not it is too warm for me as well is if my phone screen starts dimming, which means that the phone also isn't getting rid of its heat adequately. And both yesterday and today that hasn't happened a single time. Means that my phone can also get rid of its heat, and so too can I. Lovely to see at the horizon to the south, southeast, east, and also to the northeast, but further to the east. You can see how the friendly clouds are forming, and I would go so far as to say that they're following the coastline. I would say that these clouds are probably forming approximately at the same distance land inward, the same distance from the coastline. But maybe my topography is off. Now I'm starting to have second thoughts. Is that really so? The coastline north of Schiphol does run more or less to the north, but also a bit northeasterly. Not sure. Whatever it is, it sure should look interesting if you check out the satellite footage on, for instance, Radar. This is Delta Airlines Flight 144 in the meantime, arriving from Seattle, Washington. It has a carrying cabin, as you can see. It's doing a wheelie. Low-key wheelie. But then no reversers, idle reverse landing. Not a full bingo card. But the low-key wheelie was nice. Peter asks if it is my birthday today. It was yesterday, Peter. But thank you so much for the congratulations, regardless. And it seems that we've crossed through 500 likes. Thank you all so much for that. If you are enjoying what you're seeing and you haven't done so already, consider adding to the likes. If you want to help this channel reach a wider audience and you want to help for free. Next airplane coming in is Fueling, Wooling, Wheeling. We've come up with several nicknames for the carrier. It's Hans' favorite. It's coming in from Barcelona. It's an A320neo. An hour and 52 minutes on the way. The ECNCS Echo Charlie, November Charlie Sierra. And thank you so much, Lee. This airplane is 6 years old. First flight was in March 2019. It's been a while since we checked if the dot is still in place, but luckily it is. Next up, KLM flight 1502, arrival from Madrid. Boeing 737-700, the PHBGG Bravo Golf Golf. Next airplane, Lot Embraer 190 after this. Already visible in the top left, you can see it. Arrival from Warsaw, flight 263. Nice and floaty. I spy with my little eye KLM flight 744. That is expected to be the third arrival here. No, second now. Lot is next. After that, KLM flight 744 probably. Arrival from Lima in Peru. Now, let's have a look. You can see the METAR in the ticker. But it's also nice to have a look at the visualization of the weather at times. To see what is going on. Verify that you are a human. I am a human. For some reason, the default runway is no longer 18 or 36, but has become runway 0422. But we are standing next to a 1836 runway, and you can see that the wind has turned a bit more to the north. In other words, for the airplanes that are landing, they're using the runway, well, like so, from the north. It means that there is a bit of tailwind, and the wind is expected to turn further to the north as the day progresses, so the tailwind component is increasing, and there will come a point at which ATC is going to say that's too much tailwind for landing. We're going to start using the runway for departures. 9 knots of wind, the wind is picking up as well. 26C, roughly 82F. Few clouds at 4,500 feet now, no ceiling. In other words, summery weather. But for how long the runway is going to stay open for arrivals remains to be seen. Very polished landing there by Lot. Sirius is asking, when is Boeing 747 coming? They already landed. 2 of them. And if you joined us just now, you may have missed them already. There is still a 4-engined airplane coming. That's the A380. Last time we checked, its ETA was in 25 or so minutes from now. It's probably going to land on the wrong runway, but we can still see airplanes going to the wrong runway quite well from over here. Next airplane that has just turned in is KLM Flight 744, and I think Delta Airlines Flight 164 is going to be next after that. 2 wide bodies back to back. Michael has to go. Thanks for stopping by, mate. Enjoy the rest of your day and see you soon. Freddy asks if I'm going to stream next Tuesday, and the answer is no. My day job is on Tuesdays and on Wednesdays, so those are 2 days that are set in stone where I'm not able to stream. KLM Flight 744 is arriving from Lima in Peru. I'm wondering what KLM Flight 1602 is doing. Yeah, they're probably going to direct that to the north. Will be interesting to see. Olaf also has to go. Thanks for stopping by, Olaf. RDW has arrived. Good to see you, RDW. Welcome back, mate. KLM Asia is arriving from Lima in Peru. Does that make sense? Well, either way, it's a fact. KLM Asia operating on behalf of KLM. Flight 744. The flight time 11 hours and 44 minutes. It's the Papa Hotel Bravo Victor Bravo. The airplane is 17 years old. First flight March 2008. Ooh, that's Asian influence, and the Chinese airplanes are influencing the KLM Asias. Those flap surfaces are no longer immaculate. Such a shame. That is such a shame. What is also a shame is that Harry the Heron is no longer in my immediate vicinity. For those of you who missed it, Harry was sitting right next to me, a couple of meters away, for a pretty long time, several minutes, until I suddenly moved too quickly to his liking and he started moving away and flew off. Aphrodite says that the ETA of the A380 has now become 8 minutes past 1, so that's a candidate for the center runway then. 99.99% certain of it with that ETA. It's not going to come to this runway. Delta Airlines 164 is our next airplane. It's crabbing a little bit. It's arriving from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Another one of those airplanes that used to belong to Northwest when it still existed. Registration November 822, November Whiskey. 7 hours and 39 minutes on the way. 10-year-old airplane, first flight April 2015. Full bingo card landing there. Full bingo card landing. That was a battery landing, a wheelie, and also the reversers having been applied. Wonderful, wonderful. Right. In half an hour from now, the Emirates A380 is expected with an ETA of well past 1 o'clock. It is more than likely it's going to land on the center runway. We should still be able to see it from over here quite easily. Obviously, if you want to see what it looks like when an A380 lands on the Polderbaan, have a look in the video section. Because as recently as yesterday, it landed here, being followed by a 747 immediately. The mother of all glide slope shots happened yesterday, when we had 2 airplanes with 8 engines landing back to back. Most of you have probably seen it already, or were here live when it happened. Now, there was also a bonus 747 underway. Yesterday at least. I don't think we are going to be so lucky today, or are we? I think it was around the same time that there was a 747 that left from Paris, which was expected, what was it in the end, 1:15 or something? If something similar were to happen today, it means that the bonus queen should be visible on flight radar already, and maybe even already airborne. Wouter has to leave again. Thanks for stopping by, mate. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully see you again later in the weekend. 3 airplanes on the glide slope. It's all narrow bodies. 2 of them are KLM. The middle one is a 737 from Transavia, arriving from GRX. Huh? What? Okay. Okay. The A380 has been assigned to the Polderbaan. We'll have to see it to believe it, but that is sounding very promising. So only in the end 1 KLM 747 getting away then? Are there more wide bodies coming in from the east in the vicinity of the A380 that might also be coming this way? Usually there's a Saudi Dreamliner not too far from where the A380 is flying. I'm wondering, or Turkish A330 arriving from Istanbul. That's usually an A330 or Dreamliner or A350. Are there more wide bodies arriving from the east that have been assigned to the Polderbaan unexpectedly? Yeah, indeed, Maria, you never know with ATC. Hey, Ton is also in the chat. Good to see you, Ton. Even the bird control is so happily surprised. Yeehaw! Shots fired. They're also celebrating. They're also celebrating the fact that we are going to see the A380 here on this runway. And this is the Sunweb livery of Transavia. Sunweb is a tour operator that isn't part of Transavia, but it is a business partner of Transavia. It's a Dutch tour operator and it has a special livery, which I think should also feature snow and whatnot, because they also, you can also book your winter skiing trip through them. In fact, that's what I usually do. Yeah, present from ATC the whole week after the birthday. The A380 will go to Polar. I hope that that is going to be true. Now, then again, I don't know yet what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm thinking with the weekend upon us tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, if there's something interesting to see at Kaagbaan, I am contemplating going to the Kaagbaan tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. On the one hand, because we've been here for 2 days in a row now, and another reason is that it's probably going to be immensely crowded here, given that we have 1, school holidays, 2, decent weather, and there was a 3, weekend. Lakerson, good afternoon. And Pate, good afternoon. Did I hear that? Yeah, absolutely. My birthday was yesterday, mate. Turned 43. So no longer do I have the answer to life, the universe and everything. Luckily, we do still have access to ChatGPT. And through ChatGPT yesterday, we learned that there are, what was it again, 220 million stroopwafels consumed in the Netherlands each year? Or was that the production number? Or was it a different number? Great, many of you invested a lot of time and effort in finding the right answer. Hey, a belated congratulations, Pete, whose birthday was on the 11th. Hey, Bevroren Patat, thank you so much for the congratulations. So you can see that the airplanes are crabbing. The wind is turning further northwesterly and is expected to turn further to the north as the day progresses. So how long this runway is going to stay open for arrivals, I don't know for sure. It's not going to change before the end of the stream. But the wind is expected to become more northerly as the afternoon progresses. The wind is not expected to slow down either, so the changing of the wind direction means that for landings here on this runway there will be ever more tailwind, and there will come a point at which the tailwind is too great and ATC is going to switch the runway use. Flores, dankjewel, thank you so much. Now with the wind it is starting to get very comfortable. The sun is not shining as brightly anymore because there's high clouds in the way. It's become a bit of a milky sky, and you can also see the halo a bit better now than you could earlier. It's still not the best halo, but it is a halo nonetheless. And looking to the east, you can see that those friendly clouds land inward are growing slowly but surely. There's even a mushroom cloud over there. And is that giving us? No, it's not, is it? It's just pointing. Wait, what's this? Is that a cloud flipping us off? No, it's not as clear as it was that one day, when it was clear for all to see. Narrowbodies. Hey, and Lisa likes planes. Good to see you, Lisa. Hey, and I know something tasty that we can eat when you get home from work. Something with cherries. I'm already starting to get hungry. Now here in the foreground is a Transavia narrowbody, and there is a KLM 777 in the background. KLM flight 622 arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. And this is Transavia flight 6114 arriving from Malaga. The Papa Hotel Zulu, India. 2 hours and 33 minutes on the way. What was Malaga ice cream again? Wasn't that with rum and raisins or something? Right, so if you joined us only just now, you may have missed the landings of 2 Boeing 747s, one of which went to the wrong runway, the other landed here. The Transavia Retro also landed here not too long ago. You are still in time to see the Emirates A380, which has been assigned to the Polderbaan, believe it or not. So for the second day in a row, we are going to see the A380 land here at the Polderbaan. Unfortunately today, no 747s in the vicinity, so no mother of all glide slope shots. Aphrodite googled it and it is a dessert with raisins, dessert wine and raisins. There you go, dessert wine. I thought it was rum or something, but maybe rum raisin is something different then. Now, wasn't there also something with rum? Oh, that's the puddings, right? Rum raisin and also bits of fruit in them. Or is that called different? Something different? Whoa, it was a little wheelie, a modest wheelie, but not as long as those of the Delta A330s today. The wheelie competition thus far still firmly led by the pilots of the Deltas. This was KLM Flight 622, the PHBVP. Chipolata pudding, you're right, Maria. So that's something else, yet another different type of dessert. Chipolata, that's also with rum and raisins, isn't it? Or is that just fruits? Am I getting my desserts mixed up right now? No boerenjongens, Marijke. That's just raisins that have been put in liquor, isn't it? Brandy or something. Rum baba, a donut soaked in rum, aka a pissed donut with a dollop of fresh cream and chopped pistachios on top. Sounds excellent, Ali. Wish that it was available over here, or at least I don't know that it is. Maybe if it is, somebody could let us know, because it does sound tasty. Rum and raisin ice cream is lovely too. Yep. Need to get me some. Starting to get hungry here. My stomach is acting up. It says feed me. We're waiting for the A380. It's arriving in a few minutes, and it is arriving on the Polderbaan, believe it or not. This is KLM Flight 954 and number 190 returning from Newcastle. I am starting to get curious just how many Embraers we see in any given stream on average. To me it feels like the vast majority of the airplanes that we see is Embraers, either in a 190, A175, 195, E2, 195. It must be in the dozens. Brandon wonders if the snack car is there, and the fries of the snack car are pretty good. I've had good fries from them and also lesser. Yesterday when I returned to my car, it was there. Obviously before I arrived, or at least when I arrived here, it was still early and there was no fries truck there yet. But that is not saying anything, because that's always the case. Considering it was there already yesterday, I'm almost completely sure it is there right now as well. Unless there's something unforeseen that has happened to the owner of that car. I'm pretty sure he is there right now. So things are starting to get a bit more cloudy over here. It's high clouds over here mostly. Land inward to the east, you can see it is low clouds that are forming. The wind is coming from the northwest at the moment, and that is also where the North Sea or Gulf of Yorkshire is, and you can see it's clearest over there. This is now the camera pointing in the direction of the wind. Now unfortunately the sun is over here, so the sun is not shining abundantly because there's clouds in the way. But at least the low clouds are a bit further land inward and not in the immediate vicinity. Now, the A380 is flying base. It's flying base against a white backdrop. And that makes it really hard to see. Somewhere over there, somewhere out there, and the A380 is flying base. I'm doing my best to see it, but failing to do so. It's above permanent, so probably still more in the vicinity of the scale of chimney smoke, which is over there. Now the airplane is not going to be much higher, so let's do a scan. See if we happen to run into it. Don't think. Oh wait, yeah, there it is. There you go. Crystal clear. You just need to know where you need to look. Now where I am going to look now, however, is here at the Polderbaan, because Iceland Air Flight 500 is arriving and it is a 767. There it is. 767-300 2 hours and 34 minutes it has flown to get here. It's the TFISO. 25-year-old airplane, first flight February 2000. The airplane with the tallest winglets. The towering winglets of the 767. And even 767s come equipped with a carrying cabin. Bom dia, Fernando, who is tuning in from Sao Paulo. Nice to see you, mate. Alrighty. And Doug, good afternoon. Welcome back, mate. The A380 is turning in. Let's see if we can find it again. There it is. Its gear is extending. No, the gear is already extended. I stand corrected. The A380 is being preceded by Norwegian and by a KLM Embraer 190. And it looks like KLM Flight 751 has the honor of arriving at Schiphol after the A380. Nice sight for the pilots of the KLM triple. There's the Norwegian. Two A380s in 2 days. Lucky indeed, Paul. Absolutely right. Count our blessings. And with a little bit of luck, we are also going to see KLM Flight 751 in the same shot. It's a 777-200 that is flying base and turning final. Now, unfortunately for Norwegian, Like most narrow bodies that precede quad squad members, they're not going to get much love on the channel. We're keeping the camera focused on the A380. Waiting for... Ah, there it is. KLM flight 751 in the background. That's a 777-200 arrival from Kiel. And you know where that lies, right? The 777-300 is no small airplane by any standard, but looking at how it looks so puny behind the A380 makes you realize just how big of a behemoth the A380 is. Also, there is a bit of spatial separation between the two, obviously. But it's not as big as you'd think. And it still looks like it's a small Embraer, but it's a 777-200. Not sure if I said 300. If I did, it's a 200. Still, those are also no small airplanes. Ryanair is turning in, arriving from Dublin. Should become visible in the background if we are seeing it from the left. A bit lower, usually at the 7 o'clock of the number 2. Alrighty, Emirates Flight 147 arriving from Dubai. A nice bonus that it is landing on the Polderbaan for the second day in a row. Left from Dubai International 6 hours, 26 minutes ago. Alpha 6 Echo Delta Sierra is the registration. Let's look and listen. It might get loud, ladies and gentlemen. Just saying. Might. They're doing a KLM style landing, you bastards! I feel cheated. I feel cheated. I want my reversers. This is an idle reverse landing. Come on. I'm not angry, I'm disappointed. Indeed. Get airborne, you mofo. We're giving you a retest. You can do better, we know it. I'm starting to hear the triple. I'm starting to hear the triples. Let's quickly turn around. KLM flight 751.
Fijne dag, boy.
Hey, dankjewel. Fijne dag. Doei doei. KLM flight 751 is arriving from Guayaquil in 11 hours and a minute on the way. Now, if you are a Karen and you want to travel privately, you will have to be slim. Otherwise you will not fit in that box. It's a flat model. More modern airplanes take into consideration that people these days are getting a bit bigger than they used to be a couple of decades ago. This 777 is still a bit older, and you can see by the relatively flat Karen cabin. Karens used to be thinner, of course, but like all people globally these days, Karens also have grown a bit. In the meantime, the Emirates A380 is getting out of here. It's vacating the Polderbaan part of the platform area and is on its way to the main platform area. Ooh, Lisa says that this small Karen cabin is fat shaming. I'm calling the KLM manager. Do you know who I am? Indeed, Bill, add a surcharge to the Emirates landing fee. Next airplane is going to be Ryanair. Ryanair arrived from Dublin, Ireland, flight 3102. Ryanair often doesn't disappoint. They often know how to use those reversers, even though they are a dime and a dozen 737. Will it get loud? Yep. Ryanair showing how it's done. And I have to call it the Ryanair landing louder than the A380. Alright, now let's have a look on Flight Radar and see what else is coming this way, because usually after the A380 has landed, it's more narrow bodies, narrow bodies, narrow bodies, narrow bodies. There is a 777 over the Gulf of Yorkshire arriving from Vancouver. I think we can stick around until then at least. Most of the airplanes arriving are now approaching from the east. Parallel arrivals have begun. I want to end on a high note, so I'm going to stick around until KLM Flight 682 will have landed. It looks like for the time being that is the only wide body I am seeing. The next wide body seemingly arriving from the west after the triple from Vancouver is the triple from Sao Paulo, which is still flying over the very southwest of England, so that's still pretty far away. Well, I say I'll wait for the triple, but looks like after Air Transat it's going to fall quiet a little. 3 airplanes coming to the Polderbaan right now, and I don't see anything in the immediate vicinity after that, so let's just finish that batch. And I think that will be a good moment to call it then. Renee says, toot toot, are you in the vicinity? Not hearing anything yet. So it's only 4 airplanes that are now in the immediate vicinity of the Polderbaan. The last of the 4 is Air Transat, which is now still flying base. In the meantime, 2 airplanes on the glide slope. KLM Flight 914 arrived from Aberdeen, Embraer 175. Vueling Flight 1375 behind it, A320neo, the 3rd airplane. Not yet visible, but it is turning in. It's a 737-800. Yeah, visible now. In the background, above the pipes, that's the 3rd arrival. I'm hearing the sound of a horn. So Renee is driving over there in one of the trucks. There are several that I can see. So we have a choice of this one, or that one, or that one. And the last time Renee was in the yellow, or what was it, blue and red truck. Maybe it is this truck. I think it might be. We heard you, Renee, or at least I did. I'm not sure if the people at home also heard it. Ali has to go. Thank you for stopping by, Ali. Enjoy the rest of your day. and hopefully see you again later in the weekend. Yep, blue yellow. There you go. Air Baltic is also approaching. Flying on the glide slope to the center runway. Next airplane to arrive over here is Hans' favorite, Welling Flight 1375, arriving from Alicante. That's an A320neo. The ECNDB, non-directional beacon. The airplane that you see behind it, KLM Flight 1512, arriving from Barcelona. And behind it is Air Transat, arriving from Toronto. Another narrow body that has crossed over the Atlantic Ocean. And I'm wondering how much cheaper it is to fly with Air Transat from Toronto to Amsterdam or the other way around than it is compared with flying to with Air Canada or KLM. Oh, it's Captain Wheeling. What? Bro. Haha. It seems that Captain Wheelie has switched companies and is now flying the A320 for Welling. Pity for those who have left, but that was a nice little bonus, which I think might even warrant a separate video. Deserves a separate video. Wow. I thought that the one we saw, what was it, yesterday? Already was bonkers, but this one was up a notch. Wow. That was absolutely Captain Wheelie-esque in length. Hey, Lance also in the chat, top wheelie indeed. Absolutely. Eric is asking about the A5 highway. That is the highway that is separating this part of Schiphol and the center runway. The runway that you, the highway that you see in the background is the A9. The A5 is east of me. That's in between the center runway and the Polderbaan. So the truck that you see driving over there, that is the A5 highway. And that truck, those are driving on the A5 highway. And the highway that you see over there, that is the A9 highway. So the camper is driving in the direction of Amstelveen, and the other direction to the left, that's towards Alkmaar, to the north. Right, Lisa has to go. I will see you later, Lisa. Next up, Air Transat, arriving from Toronto, Canada, flight 376. It's an A321neo, 7 hours and 10 minutes on the way. And this is the Charlie Golf Oscar Juliet, Quebec. There you go. I think they should make a rule out of that all registrations of Canadian airplanes have at least one Q in them. Indeed, Bill, it was legit Captain Wheelie. So it seems that Captain Wheelie got his or her type rating for the A320 and switched companies. Seven hours and 11 minutes for this flight. Holy shizzle. Yeah. That's exactly why I'm wondering how much cheaper do the tickets cost compared with Air Canada and KLM. Is it worth it? maple syrup. Oh. Well, I see that the 777 arriving from Vancouver is still a bit out. It's narrow bodies for the time being. I think I am going to wrap up and come back again tomorrow with a new stream. Don't know yet where I will be going to, but I'm hoping that I am able to go to the Kaagbaan. I've been here at Polderbaan now for 2 days in a row, so I think it would be nice to go to a different runway. Hopefully for different traffic, but we'll see. I don't know yet what the wind is going to do. I'll look into that tonight and maybe, if need be, tomorrow morning again. I do hope to see you all there again. For now, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. I had a wonderful time and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. If you did like what you saw and you haven't done so already, consider adding to the likes and subscribing perhaps if you want to help this channel reach a wider audience and you want to help for free. A massive big thank you for all the super chats, the super stickers, the gifted memberships, and those people who became a member themselves. You guys are all the best and are what makes this channel so great. A massive big thank you also to the moderators for keeping the chat friendly and accessible for yet another day. Looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. I am going to say goodbye for now and hope to see you all soon. Take care. Peace out.